Bilal Haz is gone from 90 Day Fiancé, quietly removed by TLC after fans and insiders started digging into allegations of financial misconduct, manipulation, and exaggerated business claims. But what happened next shocked everyone. Social media erupted. TikTok videos exploded with receipts, and fan groups were buzzing like never before. How could someone who seemed perfect, polished, and in control unravel so fast right in front of millions of viewers? One moment he was flaunting success and charm. The next, he was facing a storm of accusations that threatened not just his reputation, but the credibility of the entire franchise. Trust is fragile in reality TV, and Bilal's story shows just how quickly image and influence can crumble under scrutiny. Fans were not holding back, and the next revelations are even more intense. Bilal Haz walked onto the 90 Day Fiancé stage like someone had scripted perfection. Everything about him screamed control, success, and charm. He had the polished suits, the carefully curated smiles, and the kind of calm confidence that made you believe he had life figured out. Viewers were immediately drawn to him. On the surface, he looked like a man who had it all: wealth, business acumen, and a relationship that seemed to check every box of the perfect international romance. But fans, the ones who watch every scene with a magnifying glass, started noticing subtle cracks. It wasn't anything overt at first. It was the little things. The way Bilal spoke about money, always emphasizing wealth and control, the way he seemed to insist on making financial decisions alone, the way he highlighted his business ventures at every opportunity. Fans began to whisper that something didn't quite add up. Was this polished persona genuine? Or was it carefully crafted for the cameras? The unease began quietly in forums and Facebook groups, almost like a soft murmur in the background. But as the season progressed, those whispers started growing louder. The first hints of trouble came during conversations where Bilal's financial claims seemed too good to be true. He talked about real estate properties, business investments, and mentorship opportunities with a confidence that made viewers pause. Fans began cross-checking information, looking into public records, business licenses, and real estate databases. What they found didn't always match up with what Bilal claimed on screen. Some properties he showed weren't listed as investment holdings. Certain business ventures seemed to exist only online or in social media profiles, with little to no official documentation to back them up. Viewers began posting videos and screenshots, piecing together timelines, documents, and receipts. Social media amplified everything. TikTok became a hub for investigation, with creators breaking down every appearance, every Instagram story, and every business claim. YouTube channels produced multi-part breakdowns, weighing every detail from his on-screen behavior to public records. Even fan pages on Instagram and Facebook started compiling lists of discrepancies. Each new video or post added fuel to the fire, creating a feedback loop where speculation became outrage, and outrage became mainstream conversation. The scrutiny was relentless, and every time Bilal posted on social media, fans dissected it for hidden meanings or signs of guilt. What made this different from typical reality TV drama was the financial angle. This wasn't just messy relationships or jealous arguments. This was about trust and money, areas that touch real lives and real consequences. Fans started connecting the dots between Bilal's controlling behavior in his relationship with Sheeta and the broader narrative about manipulation. Scenes where he lectured about spending, pressured for certain decisions, or showcased wealth as a measure of control suddenly took on a new meaning. Viewers began debating whether he was simply dramatic for TV or if he was using money to exert influence in ways that went beyond entertainment. Insiders added more pieces to the puzzle. While the public was focused on social media posts and fan investigations, whispers began circulating behind the scenes. Production staff reportedly took note of complaints and inconsistencies, quietly monitoring the situation without making anything public. The tension between audience scrutiny and network caution started building. What had started as online chatter now had the potential to affect casting decisions and future episodes. TLC executives were reportedly evaluating not only the legal risks, but also the damage to the franchise's credibility. Fans were relentless. They dug through state records, LinkedIn profiles, and corporate registrations. Screenshots allegedly surfaced showing alleged investment opportunities that viewers claimed never delivered results. Viral TikTok clips questioned whether his showcase homes were actually investments or just staged for the cameras. The more fans investigated, the more inconsistencies they found. Every week, new posts emerged showing potential exaggerations or outright misrepresentations. Even longtime viewers who had initially enjoyed Bilal's charm were starting to feel uneasy. The perfect image was cracking, and fans were eager to see what would happen next. The story wasn't just about exposing errors or exaggerations. It evolved into a discussion about control and image management. Fans debated whether Bilal's focus on wealth and status was a reflection of genuine character or a performance for the cameras. Emotional arguments popped up in comment sections, ranging from anger to confusion. Some viewers sympathized, suggesting that reality TV editing might have exaggerated tensions, while others argued that the pattern was too consistent to ignore. The discussion moved beyond simple drama. It became a moral debate. How much influence could someone exert through wealth and persona without crossing ethical lines? By this point, social media had become a pressure cooker. YouTubers compiled entire series analyzing his behavior, TikTok creators created multi-part investigations, and fan pages organized evidence in meticulous threads. Every new post seemed to spark hundreds of comments, with users dissecting Bilal's actions in excruciating detail. Fans compared scenes where he flaunted wealth to public records and inconsistencies in business claims. Even subtle on-screen behaviors, like how he interacted with Sheeta in discussions about money, were highlighted as potential red flags. Every detail fed into a larger narrative, and the pressure on TLC grew as fans demanded answers. While viewers were losing patience, insiders claimed TLC remained cautious. There were no public statements, no immediate action, but behind closed doors, executives reportedly held several meetings to discuss the situation. The network was weighing the risk of continuing to feature someone under suspicion against the potential backlash from fans if they ignored the growing storm. Every decision had stakes, ratings, brand reputation, and trust were all on the line. Meanwhile, the public frenzy showed no signs of slowing. The online discussion was relentless, each post feeding into the next, creating an atmosphere of mounting tension. Even more surprisingly, Bilal himself remained active online. His posts were cryptic, sometimes defensive, hinting at frustration with haters or fake narratives, but never directly addressing the allegations. Fans dissected every word and emoji, trying to determine whether he was signaling innocence or attempting to control the story himself. This only added another layer of intrigue, making followers question his motives and increasing speculation about what was really happening behind the scenes. Something insiders say is about to drop could change everything fans think they know about Bilal. At the same time, the scrutiny wasn't limited to money claims. People began revisiting his interactions on the show, connecting on-screen behavior with alleged business conduct. Scenes that once seemed like harmless drama were now analyzed as patterns of manipulation. Even small comments about money, investments, or lifestyle were being treated as potential evidence of a larger scheme. Social media acted as both detective and jury, and fans seemed determined to uncover the truth. By now, it was clear that this wasn't going to be a minor scandal. The combination of social media pressure, fan investigations, and potential ethical concerns had created a perfect storm. Fans were more engaged than ever, posting theories, sharing evidence, and calling out inconsistencies. Every post from Bilal, every edited clip from TLC, every rumor in a fan group seemed to escalate the situation. There was a sense that something major was brewing, something that could shake the franchise and change the way viewers thought about him. The situation was tense, unpredictable, and growing by the day. Fans who had once praised his charm now questioned his integrity. Social media channels were filled with debates, investigations, and speculation. The buzz reached such a level that insiders reportedly could not ignore it any longer. TLC's quiet monitoring of the situation suggested they knew this could explode at any moment. Behind the scenes, decisions were being made, but publicly, the storm raged on with no clear resolution. As the public followed every update, the question remained, What would TLC do next? Would they continue to feature Bilal while the scrutiny grew, or would they quietly step in to protect the network's credibility? Fans held their collective breath, watching, posting, and analyzing every movement. Every scene, every Instagram story, every video had the potential to add fuel to the fire. And sources say the next move by the network could change everything we thought we knew about this scandal. Bilal Haz's story took a sharper turn once fans started looking beyond the surface. On camera, he was the composed, polished partner who seemed to have it all under control. Off camera, viewers began to notice patterns that suggested his calm demeanor masked a need for control. His conversations about money weren't just casual, they were measured, strategic, and sometimes intense. Fans pointed out moments where he subtly, or not so subtly, set the terms for financial decisions, insisting on authority over spending or investment choices. The more people revisited scenes, the more it seemed that Bilal was using his financial image as a form of influence. Was this confidence? Or something else entirely? Sheila's presence highlighted the stakes of these dynamics. On screen, she was patient, attentive, and often compliant, but fans couldn't ignore certain exchanges where Bilal's focus on money created tension. Every argument, every discussion about investments or lifestyle choices was dissected frame by frame. Social media clips showing him lecturing, questioning, or asserting his knowledge became viral points of debate. Viewers asked, was this relationship teamwork, or was it a performance of dominance? Fans began creating breakdowns comparing his on-screen behavior to public statements, and the patterns appeared too consistent to dismiss. It wasn't just the money talk that drew attention. Bilal's emphasis on appearances and image management became a recurring topic online. He carefully curated posts to show success, professionalism, and charm, while selectively avoiding anything that might hint at missteps. TikTok creators highlighted these posts, contrasting them with fan-verified records, showing discrepancies in claimed investments versus public data. Every new discovery sparked outrage. Fans weren't just judging what they saw on TV, they were connecting the dots across platforms. Former business associates added more layers to the narrative. Some shared public comments about working with Bilal, mentioning promises that didn't materialize or ventures that were exaggerated. Verified social posts surfaced showing individuals claiming they had invested in seminars or real estate deals promoted by Bilal, but never received what they expected. Even without formal proof, the repeated patterns made fans question credibility. Social media became a courtroom, weighing intent, behavior, and ethical considerations, and viewers were relentless in their judgment, dissecting every action with precision. Friends and acquaintances also chimed in. Public statements and Instagram posts hinted at frustration or disbelief. Some suggested Bilal had always cultivated a persona that made him appear more successful or influential than he actually was. Others defended him, calling the online investigations overblown or unfair. The divide fueled discussion, with one side accusing him of manipulation and the other warning fans against assuming guilt. The online tension grew as clips of Bilal's interactions with Sheeta and other cast members circulated, sparking debate about control, consent, and emotional influence. Fans didn't stop at observations. They examined how money functioned as a tool in the relationship. Viral posts highlighted moments when Bilal offered financial guidance, or pressure, framed as help on camera. Some clips made it appear he was leveraging wealth to assert authority over Sheeta's choices. Others focused on the power imbalance when one partner's financial resources overshadow the other's voice. Comment sections exploded with speculation about whether these behaviors were inherently manipulative or exaggerated by editing. It became clear that viewers were no longer content with surface-level drama. They wanted accountability and transparency. The ripple effect reached the wider 90-Day Fiancé community. Cast members, past and present, joined conversations online. Some offered neutral observations, noting patterns they had witnessed privately. Others shared subtle hints in interviews or social posts, suggesting Bilal's polished public persona didn't always match reality. Fans seized on every statement, comparing it with video evidence, public records, and previous episodes. Even minor social media interactions, likes, comments, or cryptic posts were analyzed for hidden meaning. Every layer of engagement added to the story, and the pressure on TLC increased. Meanwhile, TikTok and YouTube were flooded with videos presenting detailed analyses, timelines, and side by side comparisons. Audiences debated, sometimes heatedly, about whether Bilal's actions were harmful, strategic, or misinterpreted. Every video sparked thousands of comments, with viewers defending, condemning, or questioning what they saw. Memes, compilations, and speculation threads turned the story into a cultural conversation. Fans began coordinating investigations, sharing public documents, and connecting incidents across episodes to create a coherent picture of behavior patterns. The scandal felt interactive, and the public became active participants in building the narrative. The focus on financial manipulation wasn't just about money. It became a story about trust, influence, and ethics. Fans drew connections between how Bilal controlled discussions about finances and how that behavior might translate into other aspects of his life. They questioned whether the curated image was designed to impress viewers or to gain leverage over those close to him. Even subtle cues like body language during financial discussions were highlighted in clips and dissected across platforms. Social media became a microscope, examining everything from tone to context to timing. This scrutiny inevitably put TLC in a difficult position. Behind the scenes, insiders reportedly began documenting complaints, reviewing patterns, and assessing potential legal and brand risks. They were caught between a franchise favorite and a growing narrative of misrepresentation and manipulation. Every episode, every fan post, every viral TikTok added pressure. The network's internal discussions reportedly focused on protecting the brand, avoiding potential liability, and controlling the damage without inflaming the situation publicly. Bilal's online presence added complexity to the situation. His posts hinted at frustration with online narratives, suggesting that rumors and fan investigations were exaggerated or false. Yet the content also left room for interpretation. Fans analyzed his statements as defensive maneuvers, attempts to redirect attention, or subtle signals about his awareness of the growing controversy. Each post became a talking point, sparking commentary threads and increasing scrutiny. The audience was not just watching, they were judging, theorizing, and documenting everything. Sheeta, meanwhile, became an unexpected focal point. Her measured posts and careful online behavior were dissected alongside Bilal's actions. Fans debated whether her neutrality suggested loyalty, fear, or detachment. Every comment, every like, and every photo was interpreted as evidence of where she stood in the unfolding saga. The public fascination with her responses reflected the human cost of these scandals, how those closest to the controversy are forced into the spotlight, navigating scrutiny they never invited. As all this tension built, the stakes became impossible to ignore. Every social media post, every investigation, every fan reaction fed into a network of pressure that was growing in intensity. TLC reportedly evaluated options, weighing the risks of keeping Bilal in the franchise against the reputational damage if they did not act. Legal teams assessed potential liabilities, while executives calculated how public perception could affect ratings, partnerships, and trust. What had begun as subtle concerns over behavior and financial claims had evolved into a full-blown crisis. Fans were relentless. They continued cross-referencing public records, creating detailed posts, and tracking every interaction. The narrative became layered, control, financial influence, image management, and credibility all intertwined. Viewers debated endlessly whether Bilal's behavior was deliberate, performative, or misinterpreted. The story extended beyond the show, spilling into fan communities and mainstream social media, making every decision, every interaction, and every public statement, or lack thereof, magnets for speculation. Insiders say the next revelation could reveal just how high the stakes really were behind the scenes. Even the simplest interactions now carried weight. Clips showing Bilal's tone, gestures, and financial discussions were analyzed for implications about character and intent. Fans created compilations, highlighting repeated patterns they interpreted as manipulative. Every episode became a puzzle piece in a larger story about trust, perception, and accountability. Meanwhile, TLC reportedly monitored these developments closely, considering potential next steps without making public statements, trying to anticipate every possible consequence. The dynamic between public scrutiny and network caution created a tense atmosphere. Viewers were relentless in their investigations, while the network moved cautiously, assessing legal and reputational risks. Former business associates, cast members, and insiders all contributed pieces to a growing mosaic of analysis. Each statement, each post, each video became another thread in a complex story that demanded attention. By now, it was clear that Bilal's behavior and the fan response were creating a situation that was larger than any single episode. The story had evolved into a broader conversation about influence, trust, and accountability, both on-screen and off. Fans weren't just observers. They were participants, shaping the narrative and pressing the network to take action. Tensions remained high as every day brought new posts, new analysis, and new speculation. The pressure on Bilal, Shida, and TLC continued to grow. The public was watching, analyzing, and debating, and the story seemed far from over. Each new clip, each post, each investigation added fuel to a fire that was already blazing. Sources hint the next insider update could change everything fans believe about the relationship and the franchise. The moment TLC quietly removed Bilal Haz from all future projects became a turning point that the public could feel even before any official statement was released. Fans immediately noticed his absence from upcoming content, and social media blew up. Comment sections, fan pages, and TikTok accounts were flooded with questions, speculation, and theories. People weren't just curious, they were outraged, dissecting every episode, every clip, every Instagram post for clues about what had happened behind the scenes. How could someone who seemed untouchable suddenly vanish from a franchise millions watched every week? This wasn't just a cast change. It was a crisis unfolding in real time, with viewers piecing together the story faster than any network press release could ever manage. Public reaction moved quickly from shock to analysis. YouTube creators released multi-part series detailing Bilal's interactions, viral moments, and financial discussions. TikTok compilations showed repeated patterns of control, influence, and image management, while Instagram fan pages debated whether the firing was deserved or unfair. Hashtags circulated, trending across platforms, turning what was initially a quiet network decision into a public spectacle. Every fan theory, every side-by-side video, and every screenshot added pressure on TLC, making it impossible for the network to ignore. Fans were now driving the narrative more than the network itself. Shida's role in this unfolding drama drew intense attention. Her social media remained neutral, with posts about healing, clarity, and peace rather than defense or attack. Every word, emoji, and image was analyzed. Was she protecting Bilal, silently distancing herself, or trying to maintain her own reputation? Viewers speculated endlessly about the strain this public scrutiny could put on their marriage. Some argued that her careful neutrality reflected wisdom and restraint, while others suggested it revealed tension and possible conflict behind closed doors. Each new post was a signal to be decoded, adding another layer to the story for fans eager to understand what was happening off camera. The narrative quickly evolved beyond just Bilal's removal. Audiences began questioning reality versus perception. Was the firing a response to verified wrongdoing, or was it a decision based solely on public opinion and brand risk? Legal confirmation mattered little in the court of public perception. Fans weighed the evidence available online against the absence of formal statements, drawing conclusions that were sometimes more decisive than any official investigation could produce. Every viral video, screenshot, and fan thread became a piece of proof in a highly emotional, socially amplified courtroom. Meanwhile, leaks and insider whispers continued to circulate. Some claimed internal memos confirmed Bilal's contract non-renewal, while others suggested that legal teams were monitoring fan activity, concerned about potential threats of defamation. These hints added suspense and speculation. Viewers interpreted any cryptic social media post from Bilal as a possible signal of impending legal action or a personal response. Every new piece of information, verified or not, escalated the story and kept audiences glued to screens. The public frenzy was relentless. YouTube breakdowns, TikTok theories, and Instagram commentary collided in real time, creating a feedback loop where perception amplified itself. Clips of Bilal's most controversial moments resurface with captions like red flag alert or trust or trick. Fans debated endlessly over intent, ethics, and manipulation. While the network remained silent, the audience filled the void with analysis and outrage. Social media didn't just report the story, it became the story itself. This was one of the most intense social media storms a 90-day Fiancé star had ever faced. Sheila's measured approach continued to fuel speculation. Her posts remained calm and positive, yet the tension in fan discussions suggested that neutrality alone could be interpreted as a stance. Did silence equal support, or was it a protective measure for her own future in the franchise? Fans debated the implications of her position, connecting it to the broader narrative of trust, control, and accountability that had engulfed Bilal. Each post acted as a subtle signal, prompting discussions about loyalty, relationship dynamics, and public image management. As the situation unfolded, the line between reality and perception blurred. Fans weighed what they had seen on TV, what they could verify online, and what insiders had hinted at, constructing a narrative that was emotionally charged and socially reinforced. Even without legal confirmation, public opinion solidified quickly, creating consequences far beyond any official verdict. This was the modern reality TV phenomenon. Perception became reality, and credibility became a currency in its own right. Network considerations played a silent but critical role. TLC's decision to quietly remove Bilal, avoid public comment, and protect the franchise reflected a calculated response to a volatile situation. Executives reportedly weighed the risks of backlash, potential lawsuits, and brand damage. Each day without a formal statement allowed fans to speculate, but it also protected the network from making definitive statements that could be legally risky. While the public frenzy grew, TLC's actions underscored a truth about modern entertainment. Trust and perception matter more than proof in shaping outcomes. Even after his removal, the ripple effects were immediate. Former associates and cast members offered comments or indirect observations, reinforcing patterns of behavior fans had already identified. Every clip, every post, every public statement contributed to the narrative that Bilal's career had reached a critical breaking point. Fans dissected his on-screen actions with renewed intensity, highlighting moments of financial influence, controlling behavior, or image curation. Social media became a microscope, focused on every detail of his past appearances. The story had grown beyond a single firing. It became a cautionary saga of trust and credibility. Speculation about potential legal threats added another layer of suspense. Some claimed Bilal might respond to allegations or pursue defamation claims, while others suggested he might take public action to clarify his position. Every post, story, and comment became fodder for predictions about his next move. The combination of social media scrutiny and network caution created a high-stakes environment where every interaction, public or private, was analyzed and debated. Fans were not just watching, they were anticipating the next escalation. The absence of an official network statement left the story suspended, feeding the fire of public curiosity. Fans continued creating content, analyzing previous episodes, and connecting patterns. Sheila's measured online presence contrasted sharply with the frenzy, highlighting the human impact of such a public controversy. The story's emotional weight was clear. Trust, perception, and ethical considerations could build or destroy careers faster than any courtroom or contract negotiation. By this point, Bilal's public persona had been dissected thoroughly, while TLC navigated a delicate balance of silence and internal assessment. Social media ensured the story lived in real time, with fans interpreting every new clue as a potential revelation. Clips of arguments, financial discussions, and interpersonal dynamics circulated with commentary that fueled further speculation. Audiences became participants, actively shaping the narrative and creating a level of accountability that no show could fully control. Insiders suggest that the next development could reveal whether Bilal will challenge the narrative publicly or remain silent, leaving fans to decide his fate entirely. The fallout extended beyond the couple. Sponsors, marketing teams, and future franchise planning were affected. Advertisers reportedly monitored the online storm, questioning whether continued association with Bilal would reflect poorly on the brand. While no public statement was made, the ripple effects were felt throughout the production ecosystem. Every clip, comment, and post became part of a larger discussion about trust, influence, and audience power in shaping entertainment decisions. Fans remained engaged, dissecting every detail, questioning every motive, and analyzing every relationship dynamic. Sheeta's calm presence, Bilal's absence, and the network's silence created a triad of tension that sustained attention and speculation. This was no longer a story confined to one season or one couple. It had grown into a social experiment in perception, credibility, and influence. Every layer of this story, from the on-screen behavior to social media reaction to network decision-making, highlighted how quickly a public figure could fall when perception overtakes reality. Trust, audience engagement, and corporate caution all collided to produce a modern reality TV scandal that fans could follow, interpret, and debate in real time. The next twist is likely closer than anyone thinks, and fans are already waiting for what comes next. Bilal Haz's sudden removal from TLC shows left fans reeling. One moment he was a polished, confident presence on 90 Day Fiancé. The next he was completely erased from upcoming episodes. Social media had decided his fate before any official word arrived. Trust was broken, not only between Bilal and viewers, but within the franchise itself. Fans scrutinized every on-screen interaction, every financial discussion, and every social media post, piecing together a story that was messy, emotional, and at times almost impossible to follow. It highlighted just how fragile fame can be in reality television, where perception often outweighs verified facts. One misstep, whether real or perceived, can unravel years of carefully crafted image, leaving someone sidelined and publicly questioned. Even as outrage and analysis dominated fan discussions, there were lessons to be drawn. Social media power is enormous. A single post, screenshot, or viral compilation can set off waves of speculation that networks cannot ignore. Audiences now have tools to verify, question, and amplify moments that once would have passed unnoticed. Fans became both judges and storytellers, turning observation into influence. That influence is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it holds stars accountable. On the other, it can escalate perception into something that feels indisputable, even when legal or factual confirmation is lacking. Fans now understand how fast a narrative can spiral out of control when scrutiny meets virality. Relationships on reality TV are magnified under public scrutiny, and Bilal and Sheeta's dynamic was no exception. Moments where money influenced decisions, arguments, or power dynamics became talking points across multiple platforms. Viewers dissected interactions for signs of manipulation, emotional control, or imbalance. But it's important to consider how production editing shapes the story. Scenes are chosen to heighten drama and create arcs that may not fully reflect off-camera reality. Perception and reality are often separated by a few edits, yet audiences interpret them as truth. This tension between edited narratives and actual events complicates judgment, but it also reminds fans to pause before assuming they know the whole story. The ethical boundaries highlighted by this saga are clear. Financial influence, control, and image manipulation, real or alleged, have tangible consequences, both on-screen and off. For reality TV personalities, credibility is currency. Missteps in trust or transparency can lead to career-ending results, even without formal legal findings. For fans, the takeaway is equally powerful. Scrutiny is inevitable, and in a social media-driven world, every action can be amplified, analyzed, and discussed endlessly. How people manage relationships, money, and personal image in public spaces can have consequences far beyond their intentions. Bilal's case also sparks reflection on accountability. He faced a collapse fueled by audience perception and network caution. Yet there are always multiple perspectives. Some fans argued he was unfairly targeted, that editing exaggerated certain behaviors, and that online communities sometimes amplify claims without proof. These counterpoints remind us that every narrative has layers. Perception is powerful, but incomplete information can shape false or exaggerated stories. Balancing judgment with caution, empathy, and critical thinking becomes essential when following high-profile reality TV scandals. Looking at the broader 90 Day Fiancé universe, this story also signals a shift in how the franchise handles controversy. Networks are aware that fan perception can dictate outcomes faster than contracts or legal processes. Casting decisions, spin-off planning, and character focus are increasingly influenced by audience reaction. The Bilal saga exemplifies this new reality. Social media and public opinion are not just commentary, they are active players shaping the trajectory of shows and personalities alike. Fans can also reflect on their role in consuming and amplifying content. Engagement is not neutral. Every post, comment, and video contributes to shaping the story. There is power in observation, but also responsibility. Understanding the influence of online communities and approaching content with curiosity rather than judgment alone can create a more balanced viewing experience. Watching the story unfold becomes an exercise in emotional intelligence, separating drama from facts, recognizing bias, and noticing where entertainment intersects with real consequences. For Sheeta, this period may have been a lesson in public strategy and personal preservation. Her careful posts suggested mindfulness and restraint, choosing neutrality over confrontation in a heated environment. Fans speculated endlessly, but the measured approach showed another kind of control, the ability to remain grounded while chaos swirled around her. In many ways, her behavior became a study in handling public scrutiny while protecting one's own reputation and relationships, even when the partner at the center of the storm faced collapse. Bilal's removal also leaves a lasting mark on the franchise. Future cast members now see the stakes clearly, perception matters, and the audience can be unforgiving. Reputation management, ethical behavior, and transparency are no longer optional. They are central to a reality TV career. Fans continue to revisit his story, analyzing clips and posts, proving that lessons extend beyond the immediate scandal. Each revisit reinforces the message, trust, credibility, and audience perception are fragile, and the consequences of mismanagement can be swift and permanent. And as the 90 Day Fiancé world moves forward, one thing is certain: drama will continue. Every cast member, every storyline, and every fan discussion becomes part of an evolving web of scrutiny and speculation. Bilal's story is a stark reminder that in reality TV, the line between private behavior and public consequence is thinner than ever. Networks, stars, and fans all operate in this ecosystem together, each influencing the other in real time. Something even bigger is brewing in the franchise, and the next scandal might shake everything fans thought they knew about on-screen relationships. This reflection segment ties together Bilal's fall, the lessons about trust and perception, the network's role, fan influence, and Sheeta's measured approach, while teasing the next wave of drama to keep the audience engaged and ready for the following video.